Say hello to the Rivian R1S, a Gen 2 model, and this week we are spending some time living with the Tri-Motor. So with the yellow accents, like on the brake calipers and the badge, that means it is the Tri-Motor. The quad motor has now gone to like this bluey gray accent color. Ooh, look at that. All right, let's go into sport mode. And wait for it. What the? So a dual motor performance Rivian is already pretty fast. The tri-motor is ridiculously fast, and a quad motor is a next tier of fast that the brain probably cannot comprehend. Honestly, it's utterly ridiculous what they are doing, because this tri-motor here is 850 horsepower and 1,103 pound-feet of torque. Rivian says 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. That's supercar levels of acceleration and an SUV or truck if you do R1T. This week we're in the R1S, so it's the pickup, the SUV. Like, that's utterly ridiculous. When you use your turn signal, you get a camera view pulled up in the cluster. Very nice feature. It's a little warpy. That GM van looks a little comical, but definitely a nice additional blind spot warning. Uh-oh, what is happening? Oh boy. All right, you see that icon changing? I can go hands-free now. Enhanced highway assist on, keep your eyes on the road, and now we are hands-free. Alrighty. And the system will do lane changes, so indicate left, checks the blind spot, does the lane change, back up to speed. Again, fully hands-free right now. I'm watching the road. Not bad. Rivian, you have properly improved your driver assistance tech. The first generation of Rivian R1s, I disliked the driver assistance tech so much that I just disabled it. I turned it all off. I'm like, I'll do the driving. So this is an enormous step up for the second generation. And I think one of the highest endorsements of how good they have gotten and the potential of the new technologies. In fact, there's that joint venture with the VW Group, right? Billions of dollars. So this new level of Rivian autonomy with all their processing power, the sensors and cameras, I'm very excited to see where it goes because they've already improved it so much. I had to take this opportunity to park up next to the GMC Hummer EV SUV, which is sort of a competitor to the R1S because they are both SUVs, electric, and boast ridiculous power numbers, but very different personalities. Just look at how ridiculously wide the Hummer is. This thing is a behemoth. The Rivian is slim in comparison. It's a lightweight, well-handling, nimble Lotus compared to the Hummer, but they both kind of fill a similar market where they're both off-road focused, very capable, tons of technology, tons of power. GMC has also announced a mid-cycle update to the Hummer EV, not on this one, but they're offering more power and actually, crazily enough, carbon fiber wheels, which I think is ridiculous because carbon you use for lightweighting. What are you lightweighting? The moon? Anyways, what would you pick between Hummer or Rivian? I just did some grocery shopping at the Asian supermarket. I'm gonna try to make pho, so I have like some chicken and stuff that I wanted to keep cool inside the vehicle. The front trunk would get way too hot, but I hopped in the car, turned it on. We are on, like ready to go to drive, reverse, but the main infotainment screen is not turning on. It's not waking up. In reverse, cameras aren't pulling up. I'll key cycle it. All right, so we're resetting the vehicle. You hold the leftmost button on the steering wheel and the hazard button together, and it gives you a warning like resetting. Yep, okay, everything is booting back up again. So hopefully it's working. Yes, haha, fixed. These things are like giant laptops or phones, right? So if it's not working, you turn it off and turn it back on again. That is a fantastic license plate for an E92 3 Series. Oil leak, yep, that's appropriate. That guy has a sense of humor. These road surfaces in Michigan are so hilariously bad. I feel like I do actually need this all-terrain tire setup on this thing to survive. Like, it's just ridiculous. Our infrastructure sucks. Now, this specific vehicle, if I go to About, is a R1S all-terrain Tri-Max. So Tri-Motor, Max Battery Pack, Ascend Package, Rivian Autonomy Platform, Ascend Black Mountain with brown ash wood, storm blue exterior, max pack battery, tri-motor all-wheel drive, 20-inch all-terrain tires. So you essentially have like your spec sheet here inside your infotainment screen. Late last night on the way to the gym, I decided to try out launch control. And This is a tri-motor with the max battery pack on the off-road pack. So it's got the all-terrain tires with the 20-inch, well, I believe they're 20-inch wheels. But anyways, all-terrain tires, which are not the most optimal in terms of on-road grip. They're all-terrain. They're not summer performance tires. They're not track tires. This thing at 850 horsepower, well over 1,000 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, I clocked 2.92 seconds just on the street, casually. Did another 2.93. What? We are doing some house shopping, so time to hop in the Rivian and go tour some houses. I have the phone app set up, so I just keep my phone in my pocket. Then I need to bring the little key card thing, and the vehicle sensed it, unlocked. Take a look at that cool pattern. This got plaid pattern on the floor mats and also on the seats. We spent some time with a dual motor, and I didn't get some of these cool interior upgrades, but the tri-motor does. Like a little off-center Rivian logo there. These seats are definitely pretty cool looking. All right, first time trying out launch control for Angel. We are at a pretty low state of charge, but getting ready. You're ready, holding onto the handle? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Ready to go.
Should I film you or should I film the car doing launch control?
You can film the car.
All right, release brake to launch. We're ready to go. As soon as the light turns green.
Wait, let me really get ready. Release the hair. Oh God. Oh my God.
That was only 3.14. I need to.
Really smooth, actually.
Yeah, I need to charge it up. I did a 2.9 the other day. So this thing needs to get charged up a little bit. Oh, I guess we'll also have an additional passenger. I had the 2.9 just by myself, but...
I think I made a really unattractive face.
Really? No, you're always beautiful.
Oh, God.
Again, prepare for launch. Launch mode. Please launch responsibly. Getting ready. Ready. As soon as the light turns green.
Oh, gosh, hun. Oh, my gosh.
That was faster, 3.05.
This honestly feels really smooth, though, surprisingly.
Yeah, isn't it impressive?
Yeah, very impressive.
Peak G-force was 1.16. That's accelerating like that. We're in the lowest suspension mode right now. Actually, that's pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
Load up even more. I cannot wait for the quad motor, honey.
What is the difference with the quad motor? What is that supposed to
Even more power.
Provide?
Oh, okay. The tires?
Oh gosh, yep, I do. Okay, here we go. Ripping along.
All right, first home to tour is actually a new construction. This looks pretty nice. What do you think?
It looks really nice. I
like
just the build.
And 2-car garage. All right, time to go check this out. Waiting for a realtor to show up. How am I doing on range? 101 miles. Tomorrow I am driving all the way up to Road America, so I will have to charge this thing up for the road trip tomorrow and probably stop also. I'm going to check out the Rivian Adventure Network charging station thing. There's one on the west side of the state. We picked a good realtor because he daily drives an S63 AMG. He is a man of taste. Although it's kind of amusing thinking that this R1S Tri-Motor like doubles the power output of that, or torque output, maybe not power quite yet, but EVs have just completely made power. Ooh, Rivian van. Older sibling. EVs have just made the power figures kind of just almost obsolete. We are down to 24%, so let's find a charging station. I'm actually going to try to find a Tesla station close by. Network Tesla, because we have the adapter. Alright, so there's one right here. That's a Tesla station. We do have the adapter, 16 of 20 available. Behind this strange wall of shipping containers, Tesla superchargers. Oh, looks like there's also EV Go here. A couple Kias, Cadillac Lyric. I think the charge port is up front. Oh, that's a cool color on that EV6. Do you like that color, honey? That blue?
That blue?
Yeah.
It's all right.
So you see, Tesla has opened up the NACS charging ports for like other manufacturers. So Kia, Rivian, and also future stuff is all going to this standard. So Tesla kind of won. That little plug is actually different than the one that these cars usually have built in. Why does that guy have a camera sticking out the back of his Tesla? So you see, this is the CCS charging port that's built into the car. And on the other side, we have the Tesla style NACS. And this is the adapter that we plug in and we can charge at Tesla. We have the adapter plugged in and then, there we go. All right, plugged into a Tesla supercharger. It is currently ramping up, 200 miles per hour, 226, 239. We're at 59 miles. I'm gonna charge a good amount actually because of a long drive tomorrow. 346 miles per hour, it's still climbing. So we're sitting at 432 miles per hour, and that's 198 kilowatts. So I believe it's capable of getting a little bit more than that, but 200 kilowatts is decent charging speed. 434 miles per hour. And I think that's a more relatable numerical figure for a lot of people. So if I sit here charging for half an hour, I could expect at least 200 something miles, which is enough to leave and start driving. But you have to know that it's not a perfectly linear charging curve. As you get closer and closer to 100%, you will slow down in terms of charging rate. But right now, we'll let it do its thing. And babe, you want to watch some videos? If we go here, we can do video. We can go watch some YouTube videos. I wonder what else. You can Google Cast, actually.
Oh, cool.
So we can try that if we want. We can watch a movie. Yes. Isn't this cool, honey? Movie nights in the Rivian.
This is very cool. You'll never be bored while you're charging up.
Last time I was watching my own YouTube videos.
Oh, really?
Oh. What?
No.
So this is the problem with some other OEMs charging at Tesla stations. The cables don't really extend out. They're designed for the cars to back in Teslas, right? The charging port in the back. We watched this person and their Mach-E try 3 different times to try to reach, and eventually looks like the circuit around here, they're parked at a wild angle in order to have the cable reach their charge port. So I don't know what the OEMs are going to do in the future to maybe optimize positioning of their charge ports for Tesla charging stations, because everything is coming with NACS adapters. With the Rivian, it fits perfectly fine. It was super easy. Just pull up there, close to the curb, plug in the adapter and plug in. We're totally fine. Whereas some other people, like the Mach-E, appear to struggle a little bit more. All right, movie night is over. It's slowing down because we are above 80%, 83. That is plenty. So I am going to go ahead and stop charging because I definitely will need to stop tomorrow to charge. We unplugged the cable, the adapter, close that back up. I'll put the adapter away. Probably will use that again. Make sure we close the charging door. And time to head home. Wasn't that Mustang Mach-E just charging here? It is currently now over there, parked parallel, blocking like...
That's a different one, huh?
It's a different one? No, it's the same color.
No, the other one was like gray, wasn't it?
They're both that same color. That's the same Mach-E, yeah.
Oh.
It is Rivian road trip time. You get the welcome sequence with the lighting up front. I'm gonna put some stuff into the front trunk and we're gonna hit the road. Duffel bag and helmet going into the front trunk. There, plenty of space. Go ahead and close the front trunk. This thing is pretty filthy. Look at all that pollen. It is definitely pollen season. I feel bad for anybody with allergies. I have some bird poop there. It was raining, but it's supposed to rain some more. And I am driving all the way up to Wisconsin, so I haven't bothered washing the car yet. So we are heading all the way up to Road America. There's a media event happening there over the next couple days, and I'm going to road trip the R1S out there. We're showing 180 miles of range, so I definitely will have to stop and charge, but I'm going to rely on the built-in system to navigate me, tell me where to stop and charge. I believe there is a Rivian charging network station along the way, so we'll go try that out. All right, in the app, I can go to this tab here. I can look up the Oshtoff Resort, which is where we are going to be staying. I can plan the route, plan the trip. It will calculate the route. I believe it'll decide where I should stop to charge, for how long. So it'll calculate the route for me. I have the filter set the way I want to. I do have my adapter, so I can stop at Tesla stations too. Okay, there's the route. We're going to be passing down through Chicago. Looks like a couple charging stops. Sending to Rivian. So it just sent to the vehicle. There we go. Cool. I'm actually going to go to my vehicle settings here. We've been using all purpose. I'm going to go into conserve since we are road tripping and trying to maximize efficiency. And just like that, the projected rate, look at that, climbing 203 miles projected left. But we are still going to have to stop and charge. Looks like we'll get to the first Rivian Adventure Network with 121 miles. It's in 57 miles, 48 minutes of driving. So we have a Tesla supercharging station over there, and right here we have a Rivian Adventure Network station. It says Rivian vehicle charging only. Priority with vehicles with trailer. That's this one here. You're not a Rivian. You're a Hyundai. And we are charging. The light on the station turned green. You can see that one over there with the green light. We'll top up the battery a bit and then get back on the road. See the speed ramping up. We have the Gen 2 charging light animation. That bottom bar is RGB, and when you're plugged in charging, you have that little green progress bar. So that is an update for the Gen 2. Oh boy, and it is now properly raining. At least the car's getting cleaned off. When you're plugged in and charging, you can see that RGB light bar here. It's got the green segments as we're charging up, and it's a bit over halfway right now. Ooh, we got down to 17%, stopping at a Tesla charger this time. Let's see what kind of charging speeds we're getting. 198 kilowatts, that's plenty. I will charge up to 80% for the last stint. More traffic due to probably an accident up there. I see a lot of police lights, but we have the enhanced driving system right now, handling everything hands-free. So has today's trip taken a bit longer because I had to stop and charge a couple times? Absolutely, but it was completely flawless. Not a problem. 2 different Rivian Adventure Network stations, Tesla supercharger, just plug and charge, good to go, not a single problem, which is a relief because I have had my fair share of horrendous experiences with like Electrify America, other charging networks, chargers not working, out of order, whatever. I have been on the road for over 8 hours at this point, so I am quite tired, but entering Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, which is where we are staying. We're gonna go check in a hotel, do a bit of work tonight, and we'll pick this back up later. One upside of all that rain is it did kind of clean off the R1S, so we can take a look at that storm blue paint, which is a $3,000 option. It's this grayish blue finish, and in terms of the styling updates for the Gen 2 R1, it's pretty subtle. It's still very similar looking, the same Rivian face up front with the elongated oval lights here and the big light bar across the front. Now it is a bit thinner. You see kind of how it tapers down here, and the bottom has that RGB animation lighting we showed when we were charging up. This specific one is on the all-terrain package. So we have the smaller wheels with the all-terrain tires. It will ride a bit better than the big 22-inch Aero wheels. And then the other thing to note is now the yellow accent color is for the Tri-Motor. So you see the yellow accent there. And then if we come around to the back, in between the R1 and S, it's a yellow accent. The quad motor is now going to be a blue accent. The taillight bar also got a similar treatment. It's a bit thinner here. You have that RGB segment lighting below. We can open the split tailgate. There's a button right there. The top half is powered. The bottom half here is manual. You can fold down the third row seats manually, and then we have buttons here for folding down the second row, 1500 watt outlet right there. Go ahead and close lower tailgate, and then press that. So styling wise, when an R1S drives by, an R1T drives by, you kind of got to know what you're looking for. It is rather subtle, the styling changes. Ooh, take a look at that storm blue paint here in the sun. You can see a little bit of that metallic flake, the Rivian logo right there. Door handles, slight complaint there. So they pop out, and sometimes these you can actually hear a little bit of a little squeak when they open and close. It's just not, it doesn't feel quite as solid and premium as the Gen 1. So I think that is a slight downgrade. Here we have the electronic button release instead of an actual mechanical. There is an emergency one right here, but you're supposed to use this one. So I think that's a little bit of a disappointment for the Gen 2. We do still have the flashlight in here, so that's pretty nifty. Ooh. We are currently at Road America, so that's why you hear loud noises in the background. No complaints, they sound awesome. It is much easier to see at night, but with that lower segment of the light bar that is RGB, you can have this like road hazard warning animation in either direction. It can sweep or it can like split. Let's just say you're pulled over trying to warn people of a hazard on the road, or you're pulled over trying to help somebody. You can kind of divert traffic with that. So that's that lower segment. And then the turn signals have moved down here. They're no longer this piece here. So they are here. They are actually animated sweep. Let me just show you the rear animation real quick before we go to the turn signals. So you can see it does this like animated sweep. We can see the turn signals have a little animation sweep to them too. They move those lower. We do have the dynamic glass roof that you can tint at the touch of touch of the screen, not a button. Watch this. Clouds, no clouds. And then clouds, no clouds. All right, back on the road, heading back home. I have spent a lot of time in the R1S this week, road tripping it, charging, day-to-day driving, having some fun with launch control. And I think the overall theme and takeaway of the Gen 2 R1, both R1S and R1T, is it's a lot of incremental small improvements and updates all over the vehicle, a lot of which you actually can't tell. For example, they went from 17 control modules down to 7. As the driver owner, you can't necessarily feel that or see that, but it saved 1.6 miles of wiring, and it's cheaper to manufacture, more simple. We can't feel that as a driver, but it's an improvement. A really big improvement that I'm happy to see on the R1S is the air suspension. It's been redone, retuned, and it needed it, because the first gen R1S air suspension, unless you had it in the softest mode, if you went even anything towards the firmer side and the road wasn't fantastic, it would start to like porpoise. It was really harsh, and it would start like bouncing. You'd like hit this like resonant frequency going over bumps and stuff, and it wasn't good. And I think one of the reasons for that may have been they like pulled too much from the R1T setup or the tuning calibration into the R1S, and because R1T is a truck and I think the wheelbase is a little bit different versus R1S, there were a bunch of factors there that it wasn't just optimized. Now, this is not going to be a floaty, wafty air suspension setup. It's still a like kind of performance, adventure, all around SUV. You're not going to get that cloud-like gliding feeling, but it is really, really improved. And the ride quality, I left it still mostly in the soft setting when I'm driving around, and with the all-terrain tires we get a bit more tire sidewall. It's been pretty good this week, and it's a huge improvement. I did not feel that weird porpoising experience that I did with the first generation R1S, so very happy to see that. We have to talk about the power, because it is hysterical. This is a Tri-Motor, so 850 horsepower, 1,103 pound-feet of torque. And I find it hilarious that, like, to the vast majority, pretty much everybody on the road, when they see it in a parking lot, they have utterly no idea that this thing does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. I did that on the street. Launch control, just one night, not a prep surface. I was like, nah, let's try launch control. Nope, 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. I was like, what? And, like, it's like the ultimate sleeper in that way, right? Like, because nothing about it, unless you know the little yellow accent means Tri-Motor, says this thing makes 850 horsepower. And it's not even the fastest one. When the quad motor comes, it's 1,025 horsepower, 1,198 pound-feet of torque, 60 in under 2.5 seconds. That's actual hypercar levels of acceleration. Like, that's what a Bugatti Veyron was like doing, right? That's wild in a truck or SUV. But like, the Tri-Motor is so much more power than you would ever need. Honestly, when I spent a week with the dual motor performance, I was like, this is plenty. It's 600 something horsepower, 60 in 3.4 seconds. Even the base one at 500 horsepower, like, it's quick, and then it's quicker, and then it's even quicker, and then it's just insanity, right? So it's a sleeper in that way, and I'm honestly impressed that it can do that kind of acceleration with all-terrain tires, not even sticky summer tires. Wonder how quick this thing would be on like a set of like actual proper summer tires with like the 22-inch aero wheels instead of the all-terrains. It's such a hysterical amount of power that, do you need more? No. Is the quad motor going to be fantastically, epically fun? I cannot wait to try it out. But the Tri-Motor, I think, is the sweet spot because the price. This is base price $105,900, $105,900, just under $106 grand. With the Storm Blue paint, $3,000. I think the all-terrain package is like $3,700. This, as built, it's like right around $112 to maybe $115 with some accessories. That's a lot of car for the money, I think. If you look at some other competitors in this space, it's hard to shop apples to apples because like the Model X is not a direct competitor to this. What else is the 3-row EV? Lucid, Gravity, they seem to kind of still, they're not as adventure-y feeling, right? I mean, this thing is leaning heavily into the active lifestyle, that kind of feel. Mercedes EQS, that's totally, wait, there's an EQS SUV, that's totally different. But like, I think you get a lot for your money with a Tri-Motor because it's not that much more expensive than the dual motor performance with the max battery pack, and this one comes with a max battery pack. So I actually think this is a pretty good value looking at how much everything costs these days. You could like cross shop this against maybe a Land Rover Defender or a Range Rover Sport or a Mercedes GLE type of thing, the gas-powered ones, right? Yeah, it's being a bit more expensive, but we have so much tech, so much performance. The practicality and flexibility is great. Air suspension changes ride height. You've got amazing graphics. The Rivian autonomy platform is actually like fantastically good and usable. This road trip, there's been a significant amount where I can go hands-free and just sit here watching. Interesting thing about that, you know, like when you have Super Cruise on a GM vehicle or like Ford with Blue Cruise, there's like a little sensor there's like a whole little like camera sensor array thing, and they make it very obvious. It's usually like somewhere along the steering column that's watching you to make sure you are paying attention. This watches you because it can tell if your eyes are looking away, but I don't see, it's not like this massive little thing perched on something. So they did a really good job making it subtle. You can't tell, and they have properly improved the driver assistance tech. Stuck in traffic, I just turn it on and just let it handle everything from speeding up, slowing down, stop and go, accelerating. It did a very, very good job. The door handles, I don't like the door handles. This one needs to go in for service probably, like maybe they need to be lubricated or something, but when you unlock and lock, you can like hear like a little squeak, like a squeal, like a rubbing sound as they like angle out. So I don't really like that part of it, and the door closure doesn't feel as like solid and robust. I for some reason I feel like the Gen 1 it felt more solid. So there must have been some sort of change there. So that's a little step back, but pretty much in every other single way, like this thing is so nice. When I'm in conserve mode, I'm getting over 300 miles on a full charge indicator. I haven't charged it to 100%, but the app was telling me with conserve driving mode, it was like 350 something miles estimated based on the way I've been driving. Freeway speeds, it is going to be worse. I'm doing right around like 2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is not fantastic, but it's okay. And if you want something with more range, go for the lower tier power level with max. I think the most one would be over 400 miles of range is available, and then the very affordable entry-level one does like 270 miles. It's been a very, very nice week living with this R1S. I think the Tri-Motor is the one I would buy if I was shopping for one of these, but I'm really excited for the R2 and R3X. The R3X is going to be so cool, and all I've seen is the little concept car. It's really awesome seeing Rivian continue to improve and grow, and I really hope the R2 is fantastic. I cannot wait for the R3X. Great week. It was fine road tripping. I cannot emphasize enough how much getting access to the Tesla supercharger network is like a game changer. It makes it so much easier with the adapter plug-in, and it's been seamless. It takes away so much stress. Also, Rivian Adventure Networking, try those out. That's what I'm heading to right now. Plug in and go. It's for Rivians only. Like it's been probably, this might be the first time I've done a long drive in a electric vehicle and not had a single charging hiccup or problem. There's always been something like whether it's chargers being down or waiting in line. Like this has just been perfectly fine, like not a problem. Yes, it adds a little bit of time. Planned for it. I stopped and grabbed lunch, plugged into the Tesla supercharger. I went and grabbed the poke bowl, and by the time I got back to the car, it was pretty much at 60 something percent. So I sat there, ate my lunch, got it to 80%, hit the road again. So it's been nice, but I am going to continue driving my way back home. Hope you guys enjoyed this video with the R1S Tri-Motor. Thanks for watching.